Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. Right, this is going to be a brief, very straightforward, simple guide hopefully on relics. And first things first, it's the best to look at your relics effectively the same as you do as champions, because they do share a lot of commonalities. Obviously they are different star levels, which means different rarity levels, which means they will be more powerful. They have awakened abilities. They have their own ISO 8, and they have their own catalysts called alloys and embers. So basically, it's exactly the same as champions. The difference with relics, one thing that I noticed is how hard strikers hit is not connected to their rarity level. So when you summon a striker in the fight, a 3-star striker will hit exactly as hard as a 4-star striker does, and that is based on the champion that summons it. So in that sense, 3-star relics are going to be, perfectly usable at the very least initially as well, because in the fight, the damage that they do is basically tied and based on the champion that you have bound the relic to. Let's get in the weeds. So, tapping on Customize Relic, first thing that you need to know is that all of them have a limited set of champions that you can equip a relic to. And when you select Equip Relic, you can see which champions qualify. This Juggernaut Relic, for instance, I am typically binding to Juggernaut. And champions to bind relics best to will vast majority of time obviously be based on the abilities, because each relic does different things. They have basically their base abilities, awakened ability, and then the further you rank, you will get more and more ability slots. Once you rank up a relic, I believe you unlock next ability slot, for instance. With ability slots, you typically have a choice to make which ability you want a relic to have. It's kind of like selecting a synergy for a champion, for instance, except in this case, it's kind of inbuilt. For instance, here, gaining an unstoppable effect grants intensify passive, increasing the potency of future buffs by 3%. Or we can do basically the same thing, except increase regeneration rate. So I'm using the intensity one. Based on what kind of abilities these relics have, you can select best targets, but you can completely straightforward just bind relics to whatever champion you're allowed to, even if the abilities here do not allow it. And that is something that I already have started doing, and I recommend doing people initially, because even if you do not have a major benefit from these abilities, you will still be able to summon Striker with that champion, which in situations can be useful, and I'm going to show a bit of that later on in the video. Right, so far we have covered that you can rank up your relic when you get the catalysts. You're going to need a gold and different alloys. And once you do, obviously you increase the potency of whatever abilities these relics have. It is also very important to understand that the relics that we are having access right now are really, really weak. In effect, if we're looking at relics as gear, as items, then imagine you're playing a video game as level 99 battle mage with maxed out spells and everything else, but you have 0 equipment. Now, this is the very, very first equipment that we are receiving, and it's kind of like a level 1 wooden stick, sorry excuse of a wand. And yeah, sure, it's going to give you like 0.5% increase in spell damage or something like that. But on grand scheme of things, it's going to be meaningless. That's because, again, if you're looking at relics as champions, we're coupling 4-star rank 1 champions or 3-star rank 1 champions right now with 6-star rank 4 champions. There's a very big power gap at the moment because champions have existed in the game for a very long time, and the relics are brand new. And to be honest, the relics that we have access right now are shit, comparatively speaking. They're the lowest rank, the kind of more basic abilities. And you can see that by the numbers in virtually all of these relics. So if you take a look at I know where will be a good example of a poopy relic. We have, you gain 42 attack rating. 42 attack rating is nothing when your attack rating is 3000. You know, 1 point in greater strength basically gives you that attack rating. Or you get 0.09% prowess effect potency. That's like basically 0.1% prowess potency. Basically nothing. Obviously, as we acquire materials and keep ranking relics, and maybe this 0.09 is going to turn into 5 to 10 to 15%, at which point the actual ability benefits are going to be useful. But in almost all of the relics right now, when you actually look at the numbers, minus 26 opponent energy resistance, for instance. And then we can take a look at masteries, and let's see how much the mastery that everybody, well, nobody really doesn't care. Energy resistance at level 1 would give any champion bigger energy resistance than that Stormed Relic would take away. And then obviously if you activate 160 is the max you can get. So you can see that the abilities these relics have at the 3-star and 4-star rank 1 level are really, really weak. There are a couple that are kind of decent. I think the Venom Battlecast, the Thor Battlecast, maybe OG Storm Battlecast and Juggernaut Battlecast, I think are the more decent ones. But again, you need to have very, very specific champions that you bind it to for them to work best. And they're probably going to increase your like damage output for like 5 or 10%. As a good example here, I will showcase Juggernaut 4-star max level rank 1 relic that's already level 60. So I have bound it to Juggernaut, and it couples with Juggernaut basically perfectly, because Juggernaut's unstoppable all the time. I'm going to be getting all the relic benefits throughout the entire fight, and this is basically as good of a pairing as more or less you can get as far as I understand relics right now. And then we're gonna first take a look at the fight where Juggernaut has no relic. And just for the sake of argument, whoopsie, I'm gonna fast forward it. So this is a fight where the Juggernaut has no relic. I'm going up against Captain Marvel movie. Juggernaut did the fight in 1 minute 14 seconds, 85 hits. Biggest hit 31,500. So this is without relic. And let's now take a look at the fight with relic, which again is about as big of a benefit on any champion as I have found. So the relic is doing its work in the background. Next effects that I activate will have increased potency. I have slightly more damage on my basic hits because I'm hitting her whilst I'm unstoppable. I'm obviously building up to summon my striker here, and we are gonna be ready to do that in a second. I summon my striker, and then I go in the next combo here, and I get the striker benefit here, and everything's wonderful, and I'm hitting and I'm going. And that is also, by the way, how you ideally want to use your relic in vast majority of the cases, because then you can kind of piece together like 2.5 combos, because you can drop a combo, summon a relic, and drop another combo, and then like chain into special attack. So that's, so far I have found, is the most effective way how to use a relic. And here we can see that I'm going to finish this fight nearly finished with relic. So in the end, I'm doing decent amount of damage. And this is the biggest benefit with our current relics that I found. And it's 8 hits and 10-second fight duration. Biggest hit is approximately the same. So here we can see that the potential power of relic. And again, this is when you have a relic equipped to a perfect champion to receive it at a 4-star rarity now, already awakened. Just to give it a perspective for right now, relics are really, really weak in majority of the cases right now, especially the 3 and 4-star ones. That's why the biggest impact that relics have right now is the summoning of that striker. And here we're gonna go showing exactly how I have found it to be most convenient in some cases, not many cases, because it is important to know that when you strike opponent with your striker, they gain power, but you don't. But let's see. So I'm gonna go in a combo here. I summon Relic. After Relic lands the combo, there's like a passive stun, and then I can land another combo, and ideally I would have thrown a special attack straight after. So you can basically get 2.5 combos and chain on a special attack. That's the most convenient way that I have found it to be done so far. After the initial testing so far with Relics, you know, I think they helped me in about 2 matches and 3 matches in Battlegrounds out of like 15 rounds or something like, so 45 matches. There is obvious benefit to be had from these, and as we get to know them more, they obviously will increase in quality and we will be able to utilize them better. But at the moment, Relics as such are fairly weak. The biggest thing that they can do is summon that striker and obviously affect the prestige and things like that. And again, when it comes to binding Relics to champions, then I personally, at the moment, believe that it's better to bind a Relic to a champion that is not necessarily compatible with the abilities, if that is the champion that you use a lot, rather than binding a Relic to a champion that might, you know, coincide. For instance, we have Scarlet Witch Relic that is basically made for the Blessings and Doctor Strange and Sorcerer Supreme and champions like that. But the matter is, I don't use any of them in any content, really, or hardly any content. So I just threw it on a random Mystic champion just so that champion has a striker. Because the abilities and the benefits, again, you can see plus 0.3% buff potency, for instance. It's not a big deal at the moment. Later on, obviously, there will be a bigger impact if you pair the champions correctly. At the moment, it is not big. So I hope this video kind of answers some of your questions. Again, so the very basics is when you find your relics, you tap on Customize Relic, you select which champion you're going to put it on. You can see what abilities you have when you summon Battlecast. And then you also have the ability slots here where you can select whichever rune you like and just add it. And you can do it as many times. You can swap them around however you like, whenever you like. And obviously you can level up that slot so these runes become slightly more potent. And once you get catalysts, you can rank up your relics so relic abilities become more potent. Again, important thing, striker damage does not seem to be tied to relics or relic damage too much. They seem to be based from whatever your champion does. Right. If you have any more questions, obviously I'm still learning all of this myself. I will be trying to make follow-up videos on this, so ask away all your questions. I will probably make a Relic FAQ video or something like that. And that's it for now. I hope this video was helpful. Hope you kind of can organize yourself a bit better around relics and how to use them. And if you need any more help, yeah, I'll try my best to help you. So yeah.
Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about the